While I've made a lot of progress in my commentary recently, it's not ready for peer review on any of the sections. I've kind of changed some of the terminology that I'm using. I found a title that I like, although it is quite long. The subtitle is a commentary on eschatology. I've talked to a few people about the formatting of commentaries and how it doesn't quite fit into that format. Commentaries are usually on much vaguer or more selective things and not an entire idea. I wouldn't call it a doctrine though. It's hard to identify, but the study of, and it's not just a commentary on any one person's eschatology. It's not like a commentary on preterism or millennialism or post millennialism or anything like that. It's a commentary on all of it. But I'm trying to stick much closer to what the Bible says and tackle any books, verses, or mentions of what people believe to be mentions of a second coming or a return of Christ or a coming back, or even if there's anything that would mention or what people would claim mentions of rapture. I'm tackling those things. One of the things that I did recently was I went to the prophets in the Old Testament and read through those to see if there was any substance to what they wrote that I would need to include. That's not including the things that I had already read, so it's not Daniel and Ezekiel, and it's not Isaiah, although it's not that I read all the way through Isaiah. I read the relevant passages of Isaiah to whatever subject was being discussed at the time, which isn't confined to eschatology because it has been used for many other things, but still mostly revolving around Christ. So if I'm not open right now, if it's not open to peer review, I and I'm not finishing it yet, then I still have a problem that I have to address, and that is that I've moved on to the hard part, but the section, instead of chapter, the section that I just finished, from my perspective, is complete. It tells everything that it needs to tell, and that's because I had an intro and then an intro, a second intro, and then that section. But I don't know from someone else's perspective if it gives all the information that they would need to then understand my position and what I'm bringing forward before I continue on. There are some things that I intentionally left out because they will be covered in the next section, but this one that I just finished, I don't know if it's complete yet or not. So I will be doing another live stream, a study, very soon. So if you are interested, it will also be a Q&A. We could talk about anything, any question that you have, you can ask. Feel free. This channel isn't a Bible channel, but this is what I'm working on right now. And I know the channel did start out as a comedy channel, satirical parody channel, which I will do some of those again in the future. It's just right now I'm focusing on more serious topics and more serious issues, something a little bit closer to reality rather than something purely for laughs. Or because I have a gripe with something in society. But this is also still somewhat of a gripe. I just don't want it to be personal when I write it. Anyway, the live stream's coming soon, where I will have another Q&A, partial Bible study, where I'll talk about what I put in section 2, because this intro is section 1, then section 2. And if anybody has any actual questions that I don't think are answered in section 2 but need to be in there, then that would be helpful, because then I can rework it and add in what I missed, or maybe take out something that didn't need to belong in there, or maybe it's fine the way it is. I don't know yet. And that's what I want to get to the bottom of. That's what I want to find out in this live stream. So I hope to see you there, because if you're not, well, you only have yourself to blame for maybe the mediocrity of the commentary. It's not your fault. And I can't think of anything else. I'll give you a little bit of the subject. The subject is on the word erkomai in relation to the Son of Man. That's what section 2 is. The use of the word erkomai in relation to the Son of Man. So if there's a phrase, the Son of Man comes, the coming of the Son of Man, and I think there's a third wording in there. Any of those instances. So, and it's specifically erkomai and not parousia, because you will see the parousia of the Son of Man, or the Son of Man's parousia, in related verses or related chapters and books. But that's a different word, and that's going to be in section 3. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I'm going to try to do it this week. I might do it tonight. That's questionable, though. It's possible, because I'm feeling well enough to do it, and it wouldn't be too hard to set it up. But if I don't, then it could happen the next night. Live stream coming soon. And if you're watching this after the live stream, you can still leave comments on that live stream if you caught it later, watched it, and then had your own questions, and then I will be able to address those next time.